apparently.
Right. We'll start when we get into Champion Select. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Week 5, Day 2 of SQ1 League. I am Darksoul. Joining me is Byron Vela for Phoenix Horizon versus Vuptrox.
And there we see it already, Anivia ban against Toxie. This man is a very, very, very strong player for Vuptrox if he's able to pop up. He's a very coin flip over this split. And there are two champions I've seen him do well on, Anivia and Pyke. When he's on those two champions, he destroys, but after those two champions stick away from him, we haven't seen the best performances. So I'm really excited to see how he's going to try and pick himself into this draft, what he's going to choose, if he wants to stick to that Pyke pick that arguably quote-unquote cheesed out a win, but I think he did very well on it. But that's 3 mid lane bans already.
I mean, if it's cheese and it works, then is it really that much of a cheese pick? It's not like as if you're just going for a 5-man invade and just stacking in the bottom side, waiting there for the jungler to come back, or doing other really weird stuff. It's just a different pick, an off-meta sort of pick for the mid lane, and we'll have to see if he can get his hands on that, but the Jace gets picked up for the side of Phoenix Horizon.
I really like this. Rundown has been one of the more consistent players of Vuptrox, being one of their strongest assets, and having a Jace available will very much mean you can shut him down in the laning phase. However, the best thing about this Jace pick isn't even the fact that you have that option, but also it's a flex pick, which means that even Torlox could take it if all of a sudden the matchups don't really align that well for the side of Phoenix Horizon.
Well, Ezreal gets locked in now from the side of Vuptrox, so we'll have to see if they can go with an even safer sort of support as well, like the Tahm Kench, like the Yuumi that we see so regularly. They banned away the Lux themselves, so it will not be an Ezreal Lux for that bottom side of Vuptrox. A few more seconds ticking down for their second pick to lock in, and it will be the Mordekaiser. Now, we saw this from Stopwatch yesterday. He was 8-3 in the top side. They couldn't close out the game, even with the Mordekaiser so far ahead. Their mid lane on the opposite side, the Kassadin, got so far ahead, reaching that level 18 Kassa win point, that they just couldn't do anything. So we'll have to wait and see if Vuptrox can use this Mordekaiser to a bit more fruition. But it looks like they're going to lock in the Yuumi for the side of Phoenix Horizon.
Yeah, I like this Mordekaiser pick a lot for the same kind of reasons you like the Jace pick. It allows you to have 1v1 domination alongside the fact that it's a flex pick. However, I would probably favour Jace in that matchup ever so slightly, so I don't think you kind of want to dodge that Jace matchup within the Mordekaiser, so we'll see what they choose to do, however. As that Yuumi, very, very good champion, as we all know, and paired with champions, obviously not with the Ezreal this game, but going to be with the Sivir, allowing you to have so much agency over the lane, all the poke you have. With Sivir, you have so much wave clear that it means that if you're on Vuptrox's side of the lane, I don't really see you being able to change the way the lane goes. It very much is in Muyu and Chaos NCS's hands as to how the lane is going to go. Are they going to push him really hard? Are they going to let Vuptrox push to them? Are they going to look for kills? Are they going to go half damage? They have so many options in this lane thanks to having a lane such as Sivir Yuumi.
Yeah, it does give you a lot of agency, a lot of rundown potential in that bottom side. But on the other side for Vuptrox, they lock in a Rek'Sai. Krend plays this Rek'Sai really, really well. It's great to see him on that pick, but the thing again is, they have to be able to close out these games with the advantages that they can accrue in the early game. So we have to keep an eye on that, see if they will be able to work that out. And now they take away the Sejuani, yet to pick up a jungler for the side of Phoenix Horizon.
Yeah, I like this Rek'Sai pick into Xcan. Xcan is a very, very, very good jungler. We've seen it across multiple leagues. He's a consistent amateur jungler who's showed a very, very good performance in a lot of his games. So picking the Rek'Sai allows you to try and track him down and stop that early pressure he's very much known for. He's very good at getting on the map, controlling what's happening in the game. And if you're playing Rek'Sai, you're able to take away a bit of that control yourself.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is a pretty good early jungler, has a lot of objective control as well, a lot of get-out-free cards with that Tunnel and Umburrow, a lot of engage potential too, but now they're targeting Toxie yet again, taking away the Karma, still powerful on patch 9.13, taking away the RA2.
Yeah, 5 bans towards this mid lane, I mean, poor Toxie. I mean, arguably a few of them are flex picks, but technically they're all 5 mid bans, so we'll see what Toxie wants to do, and he's going to leave himself a counter pick as the Fresh is locked in against Sivir Yuumi, which surprises me a little bit. I mean, you look at Sivir Yumi, they have lots of ways to get away from Refresh Hook. I mean, Yumi can just dip into Sivir. Sivir has a spell shield herself. It's going to be tough for this Fresh to make a lot of engages happen. However, when you look at the rest of the competition that Vuptrox have, it's very mid-game oriented already. And to throw a Fresh on top of that means that I'm looking at the 15-20 minute mark, and Vuptrox hanging around the river for those dragon fights, and that composition is already looking great for that.
Yeah, it definitely is, and with the Thresh pick as well, the spell shield from the Sivir will make it hard to engage. You have the Yumi as well, where she can just get off of the AD carry, get hooked in, and then dash to the AD carry to get out of jail free there. So it'll be interesting to see how that lane really plays out in the early levels, specifically where maybe Ezreal and Thresh can punish Yumi and Sivir for their lack of maneuverability because they've no sort of dash apart from the Yumi getting to the AD carry. But for Torlux, Orianna gets locked in.
And they have a Jarvan Orianna combo in the mid jungle duo, and I mean, if you're talking about strong mid-jungle duos, Jarvan Orianna is one of the first to come to your mind. These guys can absolutely dominate if Orianna is able to get that lane lead, able to get a bit of priority, roam around with the Jarvan, and then at level 6, the Cataclysm Shockwave combo will destroy anyone who stands in their way. However, the Corki is going to be, I would say, a surprising pick into this. Sure, it allows you to have a lot of safety, but doesn't have the most agency in the early game, so I think they're willing to maybe take a step back and actually concede a few early objectives possibly in this mid lane, but to try and reap the rewards in the mid-late game. As we saw Vuptrox, they noticeably struggled, we'll say, to close out that one game they had beforehand, so we'll see if they're able to fix up those issues with a more late-game scaling pick such as a Corki.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, but Corki has seen a lot of resurgence in the current meta. We've seen it played at the highest tier of professional play recently, 2 or 3 times in the LCS, and we'll have to see how it plays into the Orianna. As you said, doesn't have a lot of agency in that lane, and Orianna can punish the Corki early with the auto attacks, with the Q as well, just to deal a lot of poke damage, and Corki has to try and wrestle with that. And defensive summoner picked up by Orianna for that mid lane as well, going with the flash heal just to make sure she isn't punished.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the competitions overall, and both these competitions in the mid game are very, very scary. I talked about already Vuptrox having a lot of mid game tools. I mean, Fresh's engage is great. Having a Mordekaiser being able to lock one down is very useful. And Ezreal's 2-item spike is one of the strongest in the game. However, you look on the other side, and Jarvan Orianna, we talked about how strong that combo is. Pair that with a Jace in the side lane, and then a Sivir Yumi zooming into the fight, and overall, both of these competitions, they are designed to spike in that kind of mid-game area, that 20 to 30 minute mark. But if both teams spike there, no team really spikes there, if that kind of makes a little bit of sense. They might just cancel each other out, so we'll have to see. But I imagine that period of the game where they're hanging around the dragon, they're starting to get that Baron vision, will be a very explosive time due to the nature of both these teams.
It definitely will be, and Mordekaiser on the side of Vuptrox will kind of disallow the jungle pressure from X-Can later on in the game. Once he has his ultimate, just takes the Jace into the Shadow Realm, makes it a 1v1 instead of a 2 versus 1. Of course, he can wait for the Shadow Realm to dissipate, and then he can get a kill back on the Mordekaiser if Jace were to have gone down. But still, Mordekaiser can even up the odds a little bit more in his favor. And if we look at the Jarvan and Rek'Sai in this game, Jarvan has a lot of early jungle presence as well as the Rek'Sai, but from what we've seen historically, the Jarvan can out-trade the Rek'Sai early.
Yeah, absolutely so, and it's thanks to Jarvan's, I'd say, much better ganks. Sure, whilst Rek'Sai can do a good job of tracking Jarvan if you are a better jungle player, if the Jarvan is able to take advantage of his extra mobility, able to get some of those big flag and drag ganks off, then there's definitely really much that Krend is going to be able to do about that. But other than that jungle matchup, I mean, looking across the whole map, I mean, we talked about Jace Mordekaiser. As soon as Mordekaiser hits 6, then all of a sudden that lane's going to flip a little bit in terms of power. And the bot lane, we talked about quite briefly, but Sivir Yumi, it is a lane with a lot of agency. However, looking on the other side, Ezreal Fresh is one of the best pick lanes in the game. So while Sivir Yumi can control how this lane bounces around, I think one gank from X-Can timed right, or Crendy coming in, I think that could completely change the face of this lane. Because like you talked about before, Sivir Yumi doesn't actually have that much mobility in terms of dashes. Sure, they have a lot of flat movement speed with some Yumi heals coming in, the Sivir ultimate, etc. But if they get knocked up, there's nothing really much they can do about it.
Yeah, and also with the Corki be able to have the rotational advantage with the package as well, they can go for maybe a 4-man gank in the bot side. Tower dive perhaps can come out with the reset of aggro from the Rex side too. So there's a lot of tools from both these sides to try and get these early picks.
Indeed, her spectator delay is ticking down now, and we are heading into games. I'm very, very excited, man. I mean, look at the standings. Phoenix Horizon, they're still undefeated. We haven't talked about this yet, but they're 3-0 right now, so they're looking great. And this is a very, very good test of their skill. They're against Vuptrox Academy, who are around about their level. But the difference is that whilst Phoenix Horizon are 3-0, Vuptrox Academy are 3-3.
Yeah.
And so the question is, can Phoenix Horizon take down this relatively middle of the pack team, or will Vuptrox prove that no, we're not just middle of the pack, we can start fighting with the better teams?
Yeah, that really is the question, and I think for Phoenix Horizon, the question for them is, are we coming into this as a dark horse that just so happened to get a few wins on the board early, or are we really one of these teams that will challenge CBA at the top of the table? And Vuptrox, as you said, they're looking to establish themselves not just as a mid-tier sort of team, but actually players that are good at the game, they're coordinated, they're a good team. And as you said rightly as well, they're 3-3 to 3-0, so they have quite a lot to prove going into this game. And I like both these compositions for different reasons, but it's all about ease of execution for me.
It is indeed. And going straight from the big picture to a very, very minute detail, that's a phase rush Jace. Now, I'm no Jace expert, but I'm not used to seeing that. I mean, I guess it gives you the extra movement speed to be able to dip and dodge out of Mordekaiser's kind of very telegraphed abilities, but usually you'd expect something like Airy to allow them more damage on the autos. So it's an odd choice, but I wanted to point it out. That's...
Yeah, it's something that we used to see quite a lot for the extra maneuverability. You're able to chase down your opponents a bit more. It's good into melee matchups, I think, because then, as you said, you can maneuver and kind of get away from these pseudo-ranged abilities like the Decimate coming out from the Mordekaiser, the E as well, which can just pull him in. So it might give it kind of an ease of execution to that topside laning phase and make it a little bit harder for Rundown to actually connect with anything.
I feel like it might be a case that, let's say the Phoenix Horizon, I think they might be confident in their mid-jungle duo getting a lot of priority and winning up, and then bot lane doing well for themselves too. So they might just be stuck at top lane and saying, well, Rundown doesn't get ahead. We're very much ahead in this game. We might as well just chill out there. And phase rush is the exact kind of run you want, just to be able to negate any sort of pressure from Rundown by just running circles around him.
Well, there is an early pause coming out from this game. It's just a connectivity issue from one of the junglers. We'll be getting into the game as soon as we can. But where are we having our eyes locked early game? Where is Krend and Xcan going to put their early jungle pressure, do you think?
All right, there are several options, and I think top lane could be very snowbally, but as we talked about, I mean, phase rush Jace and the Mordekaiser once 6 is going to be very hard to deal with in a gank, so I feel like top lane probably not the best place to look at. Mid lane I think will be very exciting, at least if you're looking from Phoenix Horizon's point of view, because of that Orianna drive, and I talked about it before, and I'm going to talk about it again, and I'm probably going to talk about it again, because it's very, very important. This mid-jungle duo is so impactful, one of the best in the game, to be able to very, very nicely be able to gain that priority from mid lane and start moving about the river, getting a lot of vision control, and eventually using that to get a lot of ganks done in the top and the bot lane. So what I'm expecting, if you're looking from Phoenix Horizon's point of view, there'll probably be at least 1 or 2 ganks coming into this mid lane, and hopefully if they go successfully for them, they'll be able to move around that, then start getting priority, and then lanes like the bot lane and the top lane will start feeling the pressure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are onto the Rift for our first game of the day. Vuptrox Academy versus Phoenix Horizon. And it's just going to be the usual line of scrimmage coming out. There were a couple of pings, maybe debating whether or not to go for an early jungle invade with the Thresh, but it's just going to be regulation.
It is. Unfortunately, no invades for us. I'm a sad man. I love a good invade. Especially when 5 flashes get burnt. Something like that. That's always great. But, yeah, it's fairly standard stats. And both these teams, I don't think this game is anywhere near winning draft. They're very even compositions, and both have ways to win this game very easily. They spike at similar points. So it's very much going to be about who is the better team, who's going to be able to outplay each team at certain points in the game, who's going to be able to play around their power spikes better than the opposing team.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how they can play around those power spikes and how they can potentially win this game. And if we take a look at the Yuumi gun with the heal and exhaust, we usually see heal ignite for a little bit more of an aggressive lane, but this is a little more defensive, but also can negate some of the damage coming out potentially from the Corki, from the Rek'Sai, or from Axers on this Ezreal.
It can indeed, and we do see Ezreal able to get to the lane a little bit faster thanks to the fact that there is no leash, so Sivir Yuumi isn't going to have the initial priority they used to. However, I doubt that will affect the lane in the long run. However, both junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, meaning we could end up seeing them mirror each other across this map.
Yeah, they might go for a vertical jungle here, but we'll just have to wait and see about that. Toxie taking a lot of damage early. Gatling Gun will trade a little bit of damage back as well, but he took a little bit of aggro from the minions in the lane, so he took a little bit of a worse for wear for the trade.
Yeah, unfortunately he did. However, you know, Rek'Sai actually doing the full clear top side and might just be looking to gank top afterwards. That's what I expect there, and that'd be a bold move to try and get this Mordekaiser ahead, shut down this Jace before it can start getting a little bit dominant with its range. Could be a good choice, and we see it happening in front of us. I mean, there's Rek'Sai.
Yeah, he's pathing towards that top side, might be able to make a gank happen. Big Bappa is pushed up heavily in the lane, so if they want to go for it, they can now. To the Styles comes out, knocked back with the hammer, gets a flash, gets the knock up, will not hit the hand with the E, but Big Bappa should be able to get out here, throws out a Void Seeker, and they're going to go for the gank here. Flag and Drag comes in, Krend is going to go down, first blood to Phoenix Horizon.
Yeah, that's huge. Being able to get that first blood onto the Jace, who is known to be a lane dominant pick, very, very useful. We talked about, you know, it's going to be hard for X-Khan to get those ganks off top lane post 6. Well, guess what? He got one pre-6. He's already sorted.
Look at the bot side. Had to use the spell shield. Isn't enough. As Chaos will just about get away. Can't have a Q here. Trading some damage back. Flash forward with the Flay. Not enough damage just yet. A couple of auto attacks left. Throws out a Q. But he takes a tower shot. He will be going down to the Yuumi in the bottom side.
Oh, man. And Vuptrox, once again, overextending on the play and dying. And I hope this doesn't become a recurring theme. Is run down. Please don't run down top. Please. But Big Bop.
Yep, goes for it to the skies. Does he have enough damage though? X-Khan is there with the Flag and Drag. A Big Bappa picks up his second kill.
And there we go.
Ooh, the Comet finishes it off, but the Rek'Sai is there looking for the damage. He's a 2 versus 1 as Chaos will tag away, tag back in as well, throws out some damage here, has a Q available. In comes the teleport now. Might be able to get a double kill here in the bottom side for Big Bappa. It's actually going to be Akers instead, goes forward with the Arcade Shift and doesn't manage to find the damage.
And both of these teams so willing to fight early and looking for these big plays. However, every single time it happens, it's Phoenix Horizon who are coming out ahead. They're 4-0 already in terms of kills. They already have a 2k gold lead. And we're only 4 minutes into this game.
Playing so aggressively, and look at this in the top side as well. Rundown just isn't getting a chance at all in this lane.
Yeah, and that Jace has a red buff, which means that range advantage that I was talking about beforehand is going to be so much bigger than what we're used to, because each auto attack is going to burn for so much more damage, and it's going to be so hard for Mordekaiser to step up and get that CS down. However, he does have the summoner, the rune for it. He has got Fleet Foot, which does allow you to be a little bit more safe in the lane and survive what is a hard matchup. But still, you just see what Big Bop is able to do there.
Yeah, just forcing him away from the wave as well, keeping the CS gap as big as possible. He's now at 10 CS, his superior, and he doesn't have any minions to really try and free hit on. And look at this rundown, just taking the pain to the face. Big Bappa could have secured the kill there if he had a flash available, but he doesn't, so gonna force rundown out of the lane instead and continue to grow that lead.
I'm surprised he didn't try for an EQ there, see if he could get the snipe kill, but not going to go for it. Instead, willing to conserve the mana to try and keep that lane priority down for himself. One matchup I'm surprised has gone the way it has is actually mid lane. It's in a very, very quiet matchup. That's not what I was expecting coming into this game. I thought the Jarvan Orianna combo would be something that they try and focus on, but instead they actually put a lot of jungle pressure into the top and the bot lane. So it means that mid lane is in fairly even, which is something that Toxie will be very, very happy with as a scaling Koki.
Yep, he's building up with the cull as well. 75 stacks left on that before he can get a payout. And once again, Krend is towards that top side, wants to make sure if Jace goes in that they can try and punish it. But so far, it just hasn't been working out for Vuptrox, and they're 2,000 gold behind 2,500 gold, and they're underneath the tower. They're going to give over 1 for 1 here, and Chaos should be going down, but Xcan is nearby. If he can go over to the jungler, we'll get the pressure down here. Xcan looks for the flag and drag, finds the stun underneath the tower. Cataclysm comes through, and Xcan finds the Ezreal.
Once again, Xcan showing his ability to have so much early pressure and influence the map. He goes top lane, gets the gank down there, and then Jace's lads get ahead. Then he goes bot lane, gets a good few ganks, and now all of a sudden that bot lane's ahead. He's so good at walking around, influencing the right lanes at the right time to get snowballs going. And I'm going to start saying this guy's praises a lot because he's been impressing me.
And he's still ahead on CS. Krend is still behind, and there's so much pressure coming out from Xcan. 3 of the 6 kills he participated in, and he's still ahead on CS. That's mind-boggling almost.
Yeah, I mean, what also helps Xcan is that he does have very, very strong laners. The fact that you can just gank top once and be like, okay, yeah, Big Bobber's going to win now. Or same case, bot lane gank there 2 times, that yeah, bot lane's going to win now. You can have that kind of peace of mind when you have a good team around you as a jungler. You don't have to try and babysit your lanes, but he's doing a fantastic job so far, having both a good CS lead and much better pressure across the whole map as the jungler. And now, looks like Krend could be cut out.
Yeah, whiffs the ultimate actually there from Torlox, but Krend gets the knock up. Xcan has to try and back away. He knows that Toxie can go in on this if he wants to, and even though they met each other there towards the Dragon Pit, not really going to make anything happen.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. If that shockwave hit, that would have been Krend too well. That probably would have been the dragon going over, and all of a sudden the snowball is looking very, very strong. Not that it isn't looking strong right now. That's a 3k gold lead already, but that fight goes sour, and it starts looking real bad for Vuptrox. Right now, they need to realize we don't have priority in the lane right now. We just need to play it more calm and more safe style for the time being. Let Toxie start scaling up and just try not to get caught out by the likes of another Jarvan engage out of nowhere.
Yeah, need to wait for Axers, need to wait for Toxie, both of them to scale. They have decent scaling on their side, and I'm interested to see how Rundown will scale, because we've seen it before where the Mordekaiser was well ahead, and he's behind in this lane, and the head Mordekaiser just couldn't really do anything at all in the game, couldn't help carry it, he just couldn't find a way to push the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's due to the nature of Mordekaiser being a very 1v1-esque champ, and usually those kind of champions do end up struggling a little bit in that late game. However, whoa,
File Chapter comes out, Flash had to be used, but in the top side, Big Bop is in a lot of trouble. Xcan is there as well, might be able to turn it back around as the Realm of Death comes out underneath the tower. That's gotta be a 1 for 1 as Xcan manages to find safety with the tower, and goes back in actually here with the flag and drag. Might want to take this fight, but looks like the Decimate coming out from Rundown will do a lot of damage as Turlox will force the Flash out of the top laner.
That's another whiffed Orianna ultimate, which is very unfortunate again.
Flashed, it wasn't whiffed that time.
Yeah, I guess you make a point. I guess the Flash, can't complain about that. And also, not having Flash against the Jace, that's really going to suck, because you have no out when he starts poking you down whatsoever. And look at the platings the Civic Yumi are going to be able to have. Oh! Play.
Comes the package, might be able to get a double kill here. That's so much damage even this early. Uses the heal, but it's not gonna help out. Muyu will manage to get away, but they pick up a kill for the Corki.
And that's so important, to start being a little bit proactive across this map, to start getting the bot lane a little bit of priority back, because we've seen what the Civic Yumi is able to do. Look at the tower platings. 2 tower platings left for the Vuptrox bot lane, because of the amount of pressure that Civic Yumi have just had, been able to push them in again and again and again, get so many platings. And also, Vuptrox, when they try and go in, it either goes like half successful in the junglers there, or they just can't get the engage off whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a bit 50-50 there, really. I feel like they should have waited for Krend to come down to the bottom side as well, had a bit more CC, but he saw his chance, he took it, he got a kill for the Ezreal, so it wasn't a bad gank, but it felt like it could have been better. Yeah,
the issue is you don't really want to spend too much time waiting when you're that mid lane. And look at the CS that you need to try and uphold. He lost the plating for going to that play. If he tries to wait a little bit more, that would have been 2 platings going over to Orianna, maybe even 3, and you don't want that really. So it's fair enough that he makes the play there.
Yep. Well, item power spike's starting to be slowly hit across the map. One item power spike hit by Big Boppa in that top side has that Ghost Blade gonna keep putting the hurt down and increasing the CS gap between himself and Rundown, now at 20, give or take 1 or 2 CS. And mid lane starting to almost hit the Loon's Echo, but here comes a gang forced to flash out. Torlock's gotta be taken down. In comes the teleport now. He's gonna be the 1 versus 2 until X-Can gets there. Flag and drag in. Cataclysm comes out as well, but he goes unstoppable. But that's not gonna do enough as Big Boppa will pick up the kill there. He has to flash away now from the hook coming out from Tiltproof, who made his way up there from bottom side. And they're gonna get flashes blown all across the map, but they get a 1-for-1.
Yeah, and look at the bot lane. That tower is going down right now. It feels like Axes and Tiltproof kind of just realized, I'm not going to do anything about this bot lane turret going down. They just hand over that first turret on a plateau, and they try and get mid, and only really get 1 or 2 flashes out of it as a bot lane.
And now 4,000 gold in favor of Phoenix Horizon. They just keep growing this gold gap little by little. They have the rest of the control around that bot side. They have the control around this Dragon Pit as well. They don't really want to fight Muyu and Chaos here, because look at the damage that they can output. Out comes the Foul Chapter, and that's all they needed. Toxie gonna go down in the middle lane as well. One has to assume they actually don't want to go for a further engage. They don't want to tower dive with Turlox being too far away.
And not only do they have control of the Dragon Pit, you see right there, they have control of the jungle. They're just like the ability of having that Civic Yumi priority and actually getting it ahead. Giving that tower over is something you really don't want to do, because now Civic Yumi can push you right up to your tier 2 turret, walk into the enemy jungle, and just ward that up like an absolute Christmas tree. It's going to be great. Instead, they're going to now move the Civic up to the top lane, push that in. There's nothing really much that Rundown's going to be able to do about that one. He's just going to have to sit there in the tower and watch his tower melt, unfortunately.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the range advantage that Big Boppa has on the Jace. It just feels bad for him in this matchup. There's nothing he can really do to try and lane phase effectively. It feels, because of that range discrepancy, Krant tried his best to help out with the discrepancy in that top side early. X-Can came in for the counter gank, and then it went wholly in favor of Big Boppa, and since then, he's just been styling on him.
Yeah, there's no real word for it, to be honest, unless I don't want to get demonetized. Not to get demonetized. Well, it is YouTube, but across the map though, it's just it's Phoenix Horizon having a lot of dominance, really. The top lane have had dominance, and bot lane they have dominance.
Yeah, they're gonna go for a gank in the top side. This is gonna be a fast and quick double over to Muyu. Gonna find one onto Chaos as well, as Rundown almost got the 1 versus 1 kill, but Big Boppa comes out ahead.
And yeah, top lane's losing, bot lane's losing, Toxie's crying. So it's like that solo queue game you have when you just go nicely even. You're on that standing champion. You press tab and you're like, oh. That's not good.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very good, but we have to try and look at the silver linings for Vuptrox. What can they do to come back into this game? Because it feels like as if they're just slowly bleeding out. 5,000 gold behind now. Every time we look at it, it seems to be 1,000 further gold between these two teams. Baron will be up in the next 5 minutes or so. Rift Herald is available, but it feels like as if they have no way of contesting.
Yeah, there's not much they can do about this one. Like, the issue is that because they're so far behind, they can't really go and push their own tempo. Because usually, like, when you're behind one lane, you try and get advantage of the other side of the map. So, if someone were to make a play bot, you're like, okay, let's make a play top. The issue is that both your bot lane and your top lane's losing right now, and mid lane is still very much in that state where you want to kind of farm up. However, Corki has hit this Triforce now with the Sork boots. He is going to be a strong champion. However, he's kind of like the only strong champion in his team right now. And you look at the fact that Ezreal hasn't got 2 items yet. You've got Rek'Sai, who's been struggling in the jungle. Mordekaiser is yet to be in a single kill or assist. And Fresh just gets melted through. So really, the only threat comes from Toxie, but the fact that he's still a squishy AD carry, I mean, that's what Corki is. Like, it's hard for Tuxie to really have much of an impact in these fights when there are people like X-Khan sitting around waiting for a pick. However, here we go.
They're looking for a pick here. Hook comes out. They're gonna find a double. And Chaos should be going down. He's just a squishy Yumi, but out comes the ultimate from Krend. He will find the second kill, and they're starting to come back a little bit. They found a nice pick there, but it feels like it wasn't really anything of worth.
It was something of worth, because if you have a look at the top lane, they're able to top side, they're able to secure this Rift Tower. And that is going to be so important to actually knock down a turret for themselves. You look at the turret lead, I mean, you've got aside of Phoenix Horizon, who have managed to secure 2 for themselves, and then
that's a lot of damage coming out. Run down. Gonna try to just run him down. Flash use. Flash gonna use back. Big Bappa trying to run away. Yep, X-Con gonna come in, but it's gonna be too little too late. Might be able to secure a return kill though, but run down. He's like, no, I'm gonna just run you down myself, and Toxie is also there. He will pick up the kill for himself, and they're saying we're not out of this game just yet. And in the top side, Muyu is also trying to take this fight against Axers. He's in a 1 versus 2. You can't take this fight, my man. As Krend goes down in the middle lane. Flash for Axers to try and get away here. Just gonna throw some Qs out to try and dissuade them. He will get the disengage.
Yeah, unfortunately that means that Rift Tower going to be off the map for a bit, so it would have been nice if they were able to use that maybe bot lane or mid lane, use the numbers of advantage they have on the map to actually secure themselves some objectives, but unable to do so for now. What I will say is that Toki's having a great performance right now. Sure, whilst he's still even on CS, he's 2-0-3, still managing to not die a single time, despite the fact that X-Khan and his whole team really have had a lot of pressure across all this map. He's done a great job at holding. It's just, now we are sitting around about, it's 18 minutes into the game, we're starting to hit the mid-game point, and that several of these compositions should spike. So I'm imagining a lot of fights are about to happen. Can Toxie do it? Because you've seen in these fights, he is most of Vuptrox's damage, if not all of it. So for him, like as a player, it's so much on him right now. What can he do? Because last fight, he got great package in. You know, the fresh play into it was absolutely disgusting. Can he nail a play like that again?
Yep, they just need to keep getting these picks, and it feels like as if they will be few and far between. Once they start grouping up in a 5-man goon squad, they have better team fighting, in theory at least, with the combo that you keep talking about with the Cataclysm, with the ultimate from Turlox as well on this Orianna, the Shockwave. So it feels like as if they're going to start having fewer and fewer options as the game goes on.
Yeah, and the issue is that as we hit this mid-game point, we're no longer going to be fighting in these open, chilled lanes. They're going to be in those choke points. And when you look at the composition that Phoenix Horizon has, you don't want to be anywhere near a choke point versus them. You can get Orianna Shockwave, you can get Flag and Drag. The Sivir Ricochet is going to be huge. That Yumi ultimate in a choke point will destroy people.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that they're going to be able to really ruin Vuptrox's day if they end up getting trapped in a little area. Obviously, you still got the Corki package, which is also fantastic in the choke point, but I don't know if that's enough to really combat the amount that Phoenix Horizon can do.
We'll just have to wait and see if either team manages to find a fight in a choke point, but right now they're just going to push up the middle lane instead. Yet to use Shelly in any of the lanes, and Krend is nearby in that middle lane point, but still, they don't have the wave control to really use an efficient Rift Herald.
Yeah, that's the issue. You're going up against an Orianna who's very good at wave clearing, Sivir who can absolutely smash waves, and a Jace who's almost always maintaining priority in whatever lane he's in. So really, I mean, if you split those across the 3 lanes, there's not really a lane you can attack properly. Oh my god, Krend, buddy?
Yep, he just gets caught out completely there. It's just expected now, almost, because this is the 3rd time I think that he's been caught out all alone, and another kill goes over to Chaos, and it's another assist going over to the side of Phoenix Horizon. They just get even more control as Shelly was put down in the bottom side instead, and it feels like X-Khan will be able to just clear that one out very simply and not really get much damage, if any, down onto the tower. Yep, didn't even get 1 charge.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they're going to get, and really now, how are they going to defend this mid lane is my question, because just look at the way that Phoenix Rising are able to walk up to Vuptrox so easily.
And Big Bappa taking a lot of damage from the side, throwing out a couple of Qs and Ws from Akkers there. Axers, I should say. Akkers is a completely different player. And they will get this tier 2 tower in the middle lane. Still no tower taken down from the side of Vuptrox. They're just grasping at straws. They're not getting anything there. Yes, closing the gold gap between the teams, but they're still 4,000 gold behind.
Yeah, and the issue is more and more when you're not able to get any of these objectives in reply. I mean, they haven't got a single tower, a single dragon at all. Like, they really don't have much to their name other than gold. And when they're not able to secure these objectives, it means you lose out on more. If we're not able to have the push in a lot of these lanes because of how your towers are, then all of a sudden, can you really get to that dragon fight in time, or are you just going to get destroyed? Like, that's the real issue when you start falling behind, is in this mid-game meta, as soon as you start losing those objectives, it's so hard for you to make something happen again across the map without just getting mauled.
Especially when you're against a better team fight composition like Phoenix Horizon has compared to Vuptrox. And the silver lining for Vuptrox at this point is that they're starting to hit those item power spikes. You have 2 items on your main carries. Rundown has 2. And Shockwave will be whiffed away because of the Valkyrie coming out from Toxie. He has a lot of damage, but is it enough to secure it? He flashes forward. He will be punished by tower diving as Turlox picks up that kill for himself. Just as we're starting to praise, give a little silver lining to the side of Vuptrox, he goes and does that.
Well, maybe we're taking that term not literally enough, silver lining. Silver. No. But top lane is, oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is a great 1v1, and Rundown should be going down here, flashes away, but will be followed up by Big Bappa. He just bops him on the head with that hammer and takes him out.
There we go, and once again proving how much priority he has in this lane. You can't 1v1 the man, and if he's able to sit in this bot lane and just keep pushing it in, that's going to be a free Baron control just being handed over to Phoenix Horizon.
Well, they're not giving it over completely here. They're trying to contest some of the vision control that Phoenix Horizon has around the big purple worm, and it's just going to be, it's almost pointless because they're re-establishing their own vision around this objective, pushing them slowly out and pushing in their own vision. Yes, you throw out a Prey Seeker just to make sure that they're not in there and to aggro the Baron just in case they're nearby, but now you have to try and go and re-establish your own vision around the Baron while the lanes are pushing.
And, well, really, that's impossible is the issue, because as soon as you lose that priority over the Baron against a team with such huge team fight potential, you don't want to face check that. You really do not, because you might just die. So it might just be the point that Vuptrox have to concede all this objective pressure, and if you do that, can you even win the game? I don't know.
Speaking of winning the game, speaking of objective control, they take a free Infernal Drake for themselves. They have scaling, now they have even better scaling, and they're just gonna pick off Rundown. On the hunt gets popped, so does the exhaust. Flag and Drag comes in, the Death's Hand doesn't really do anything for him, but he's trying to get a lot of damage back. He takes her to the Shadow Realm, takes her down as well as Rundown. Gonna try and get away here for himself. He will be taken out by Turlox, but he takes one for himself. And Phoenix Horizon, their Vuptrox are onto the Baron now. They know that everyone's down on the bottom side of the map. Can they burn this down fast enough?
The answer is no, but it's going to be so close. They might die for this. It's going to be huge.
Box comes down. Big Bappa's going to try and take out Tiltproof. They have to peel away from the Baron. Out comes the Foul Chapter, finds the stun onto 2. As in comes the Cataclysm. Big Bappa takes out Tiltproof on the side. That's the second kill coming through now from Phoenix Horizon as XCon takes him down. Big Bappa still looking for more, aggressing even more onto Axers. He takes him out. Turlox takes the kill as Cred picks off Big Bappa, but that will be for naught as the ace comes through. This will be the Baron.
And I wouldn't say it was over to go on the Baron, but it was the best call you had at that point. You haven't had any control over the map for any point in this game, and you see 4 people down in that bot lane, you have to pull the trigger there. Unfortunately, doesn't work out for them. They lose the ensuing fight, and now that Baron buff going to be going over to a team who will heavily benefit from it. And now that gold lead stretching to about 7.5k now. It's looking bad. Ooh.
That's almost an understatement at this point. I think that it's looking bad. Yes, you have 2 items on each of your carriers, but you have 2.5 items now on each of the carriers on the side of Phoenix Horizon. You have Baron Apparent Minions, you have Cloud Drake for extra maneuverability, you have Feral Drake for extra damage, and you have better team fighting anyway. You're going to go as a 1-3-1 or maybe a 5-man unit if you decide to do it that way, and you're just going to stomp anyone that tries to respond.
What surprises me the most is that the Jace and the Sivir have both opted into QSSs, despite the fact that there isn't a huge amount of C on Vuptrox's thing. Let's wait, can you QSS about Mordekaiser?
I think so, because you can use Olaf's Ragnarok to cleanse it, and you can use GP's Orange to cleanse it as well.
Oh.
So I think it can be cleansed, yeah.
Oh, never mind. Well, you learn something new every day. And I guess that's what they're using it for, to get out of that 1v1 that they really don't want to be in.
Yeah.
As Trend, he's in the...
He can't go into his own jungle here. He's trying to farm up, trying to stay relevant. He's, yes, close in the CS, but he's 2 levels behind. He's similar amount of kills, 2 to 4, but he has so many less assists, and now they're just going to siege in this bottom side. We'll miss with the hook coming out from Tilt Proof. Out comes the Redemption just to keep them a little bit healthier as they siege in this bottom side. That Baron Cannon minion doing so much work, and they are as that 5-man unit that I alluded to earlier. And now Krend is looking for a flanking play here, but it feels like he's just going to go down if he does it.
Oh, and Toxie's out of this fight now for a little while.
Yeah, like, they're desperately trying to do something, but in goes the Flag and Drag, force the flash out, a Tilt-Proof Foul Chapter comes in, will stun him down, Tilt-Proof, bopped by the side of Phoenix Horizon. They're looking for more here as the Shadow Realm goes on to Turlox. He will be slowly whittled down, but he's going to be taken out himself. Muyu picks up the kill credit for that as the double kill comes through for him, looking for the triple. Will he find it? He does. They take down the inhib on the bottom side. This should be the game. Only Toxie left to defend this Baron empowered push. No one down on the side of Phoenix Horizon. They're going to go for the Nexus Towers. They're going to go for the Nexus, and they remain undefeated.
What a great performance from Phoenix Horizon. They just showed us how to snowball the game, and then in a very, very good way. I mean, you see it from a lot of teams where they do struggle to close out games, and if you are one of those teams, this is the kind of game you want to look at. You want your jungler to be proactive, to get those lanes ahead. You want those lanes to have that lead and then push it forward. Push the laners further behind, get themselves further ahead, get some platings for yourselves, maybe even a tower. This is exactly how you win games in this meta. It is the optimal strategy, and you see it being executed great by Phoenix Horizon here.
And I think you can... It wouldn't be just down to mistakes being punished. I think that Vuptrox did make a fair few mistakes, but Phoenix Horizon they seem to have a better draft. They had stronger laners as well, and XCon, his jungle pathing was so good that he could just keep pressuring wherever was needed. He was pressuring Big Bop in the top side in the early part of the game. He gave him a lot of pressure, a lot of room to grow, really, and run down, and it really helped him just solidify his lead in that lane, even with Krend trying to do something to help out. And then in the bottom side as well, they knew that Muyu and Chaos needed the gank, and Axers and Tilt Proof were starting to kind of find their comfort zone in that lane, and it really helped them out quite a lot.
It did indeed. However, it's a real good game. I really liked watching it. However, I think we have one more coming up soon. So.
Yeah, if BSG are around, I heard that they might be FFing this one, but we'll be back in a while, potentially for Vuptrox in another game versus BSG Bittersweet Gaming.
Cool.